going to talk a little bit more about using different functions in your code in Jupyter Notebooks. Functions specifically that are given to you through the Pandas and NumPy libraries. Later we'll talk a little bit more about how to create your own functions, but for now let's just stick to ones that were already given through the different libraries that we're importing. So up here at the top I'm importing the Pandas NumPy, and then this is a new library, matplotlib.pyplot. So the matplotlib.pyplot allows us to plot these different data series that we'll be getting through the Fred API here. So in this case, GDP, and we just plot it, gives us a graph. So this is one column out of our data series and the other column out of our data series, and it just plots them on two separate axes. Now there's a line of code right below where we imported the library, and it's matplotlib inline. So this just will give us this graph here as an output. Otherwise it would just spit out data rather than an actual visual. So if your graphs aren't showing up, it's probably because you forgot this line of code right here. So here the plot function, this is something you'll be using quite a bit. It can have lots of different inputs. We can see here that we have the parentheses after the plot function. Whenever you see parentheses after a function, and the majority of functions are going to have a parentheses afterwards, the majority of functions that you're given. What goes inside the parentheses is just your input to the function, otherwise known as your parameter. So in this case it's the data series GDP, but we can also change that and call a function on GDP, in this case %change, with the parentheses afterwards. Input for this function being how many members of the data series we want to do the %change function on. So we can change that or leave it the same. So just remember, you're going to have to look up a lot of different functions as you go through the data series. Describe is one that you're going to use. Just remember that whenever you're calling a function on a data member or one of these data series, this is the syntax for it. The name of the data series, in this case GDP, dot the name of the function, and then parentheses afterwards with the parameter or input to the function being inside of the parentheses. It's going to be important that you're able to, whenever asked to use a function, to be able to find it. It's totally okay to just Google something and to be able to find how to use the function, what the inputs for the function are, what the parameters are. Just get used to doing that. It's something that you'll be doing quite a bit in all of your time coding. You might get stuck on a problem or not be quite sure how to do something. If you just type in kind of what you want to do and search for it, you'll probably be able to find a function to be able to do it. So that's just a good habit to get into, to be able to find your own functions and then to be able to use them in your code.